Just kind of go with it. I guess we could start with whatever Wong Kar-Wai movies we want to talk about and go from there. Did it sign me in? Oh, it's now live. Okay, cool. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Movie Mood. I'm your host, Alex Van Horn, with the other hosts.
Hi, I'm John Alberto.
You have names.
Yeah. And
it's a great honor to be back.
yeah, we got the three of us today once again, John O'Wiley and Alex. And today we'll be talking about one of the best living filmmakers, I think, Wong Kar-Wai.
Yes. What was your experience with him before doing this? Like, have you guys been fans already or seen a lot of his movies?
Yeah, I'd seen his movies before. I'm actually curious as to John's your introduction to him, because I know that beforehand you hadn't seen too many of his movies, and now you say you're obsessed.
Yeah, I'm obsessed, man. I last month I subscribed to the Criterion channel and I
Good.
learned about this this box set that was being released. Do you have it there?
Yeah, let's do a little unboxing.
Oh, show it. Can we do an unboxing real quick?
Yeah,
and then I'll talk about my experience.
So this is a little bit of a commercial. The World of Wong Kar-Wai. They're doing a lot of these box sets for different directors, and I got the Bergman one. I haven't gotten the Fellini one, but it's really cool. It's a beautiful box set. You get to open it. This is brought to you by Criterion, by the way.
They should start sponsoring your show.
I know. Yeah, we need to get some residuals. It's got some cool In the Mood for Love. Got the sweet DVD, Blu-rays, and it's beautiful. I mean, it looks great. There's a whole section of critical writings about it and cool pictures, and yeah, it's a pretty neat box set. I really love it.
Nice, yeah. So I did not get the box set, but I watched it on streaming and I just kind of checked out his filmography just so I could be an asset to the conversation today. Because I had not seen any of his movies before. Prior to that, so I started pretty aggressively watching them this week, and I'm making it through some of the big name ones. Chungking Express, In the Mood for Love. Checked out The Grandmaster on Netflix, and continuing through his filmography.
Nice.
Yeah.
What was the one that stuck out to you most? What was the one that you really enjoyed?
Oh, hands down for me, In the Mood for Love.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Same. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's an incredible movie. I saw it. I know I've seen it a few times, but I had the chance to watch. I think it was like a film print of it in Richmond, and
I think
really cool.
I was at that same screening. I think I don't know if I saw you there, or did you go with us?
Probably, yeah. I think it was like you and me and Jamie were probably
go.
Scattered in the movie theater. Yeah,
I remember that because that was like the first of his movies that I'd seen, and I remember I didn't really like it at the time. Like, I don't know, I think I was like just not in the right headspace.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched it again obviously for this, and like it's a totally different experience. Like it's basically a classic. Like at this point, like it's so visually, like it's all like with Wong Kar-Wai, it's all about the visuals, and like
Definitely
just like it's very like like the whole emotional core of the movie is all just communicated through these songs, and it's almost choreographed in a way. Did you feel like that, like with all the musical cues and like the slow motion? Like it's
definitely. I feel like when I think about Wong Kar-Wai, kind of similar to Quentin Tarantino, I feel like there's a lot of Jean-Luc Godard in Wong Kar-Wai, like all these, beautiful people and cool clothing, being really cool and like walking around and like talking about their like empty lives, and and definitely In the Mood for Love is like I think it's his best movie for sure. And yeah, it's pretty incredible. Like he always is repeating songs like over and over again, and it's a very like mesmerizing effect. where you're just like going back into this rhythm of the song and the movie. And
that was like the one thing that I remembered from that screening was the main theme with like the strings just playing over and over.
Yeah. What really stuck out to me was the visuals in all of his movies. Actually, it's just like the lighting, the neon. It's incredible. But I think going beyond the visual storytelling, I haven't seen a lot of Hong Kong films before, but what I really liked was kind of that universal theme of, you know, love and timing and
unrequited love also.
I mean, let's talk about that. Do you think it was unrequited love? I mean, or just love unfulfilled?
Yeah, I don't know, because it's, you know, they're always so like separate, and they're like kind of like stuck in their like 50s Hong Kong, like they almost seem like kind of repressed, at least in the Mood for Love, but they don't really show them like, you know, making out or whatever. They're just kind of like walking around gracefully. And so I guess you could kind of assume maybe the love was requited, but
well, no. When I say unfulfilled, like I'm thinking like unfulfilled, like, you know, they never, because they were, you know, both in their marriages, they both had a mutual feeling for one another, but they never acted on that.
Right. They never like left their partners.
They rehearsed what would happen in different scenarios, which I thought was really cool storytelling.
Yeah, and you never really see the other partners, and it's very closed off. And I was thinking about it too, like it never occurred to me as odd, and in the Mood for Love, like there's not a lot of like wide shots where it's like Hong Kong 1950s. Like it's a lot of this really close stuff where you just see like a close up of the man talking to somebody like you don't see. It's very like, well, it feels very like well constructed, well put together.
Yeah, that's something I've noticed with Wong's movies is like it's almost like the environment doesn't really matter. Like you can't even, like, in some of the way the shots are framed, like you can't even really tell where you are almost. But it's just like this close up on. It's always about framing the characters. It's like almost like the rest of the world doesn't really matter. But as far as like the unfulfilled love thing, like that's kind of what's so devastating about the movie. It's like they have this like little window when it could have led somewhere, and then like of course the ending is like it's just that time is gone, like he can't go back.
Yeah, it's an awesome movie. And I love the ending. Like I feel like it works. Like it's this like almost feels like a tangent, but for some reason it's just really works as an ending.
Some cool shots of like temples in Cambodia, wherever it was.
Or
something
Philippines,
that kind of surprised me. Like I don't know if I read the Wikipedia entry that's part of my detailed research for this, and like there's a quote from Wong Kar-Wai where he says that he thinks an inspiration for the movie was Vertigo. So like he talks about like how he thinks that Tony Leung's character is kind of like the Jimmy Stewart character, which kind of like totally opened up a different part of the movie for me, because like because looking at it that way, it's almost like a weird like kind of dark dimension. Like I think Wong Kar-Wai said, like, because Tony Leung is so likable, like you don't think that this guy's like, oh, he's a weird guy, he's like having this weird relationship. But then he was like, he said something funny. He was like, if John Malkovich was playing this role, you'd be like, what's going on here? This guy's really weird. So like, yeah, do you agree with that? Like that kind of opens up a new like way of seeing the movie, for me at least. Like I've been thinking about that a lot since I read it.
Yeah, it's something I didn't think about. Like definitely with repeat viewings, like I think I was thinking about like just kind of how weird their relationship is, and how you don't really know like too much about it, and they're both like kind of stuck in their roles. And I guess you could kind of think about like Vertigo, is kind of about unrequited love as well, because he's like chasing the ghost of the woman he loves, and then like you watch it a second time or maybe the first time, you're like, wow, Jimmy Stewart is like pretty creepy dude. Like he's like, wear the dress.
Yeah, like I mean,
I
it's
want
just
you
like,
to wear the gray dress.
yeah, like when they're role playing and like pretending to be each other's spouses, like that's what
Yeah,
it
that's
reminds me
true.
of,
That
like
makes
how
sense.
he's trying to like recreate his dead wife in Vertigo. Like it's
Yeah.
pretty weird.
Yeah. Also, the sequel to In the Mood for Love 2046 really reminded me. It made me think of like Mad Men, because it continues with that Tommy Chong character, and like you see he becomes more of like this womanizer, and he becomes like this like harder drinker, and he is still trying to like, kind of like Jimmy Stewart is trying to like relive that, but he like becomes a sci-fi writer, and it like goes between being like in the 60s and then being in like Blade Runner territory,
Wow.
which is
Yeah,
pretty
yeah, that was
cool.
the one that I wanted to watch, but I couldn't fit it in. But yeah, I need to
Yeah.
watch that very soon.
But in that one, I think more than in the Mood for Love, you really are like questioning that Tommy Chong's character. You're like, he's kind of like,
Something's
he's kind
not
of
right here.
sketch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
he's just such a likable actor.
he
Like,
Yeah,
really is.
that's
Yeah,
that's
he's
why it
cool.
works.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and then I mean, you raised a point, Wiley, a few minutes ago about like the environment really doesn't play a role in the movie, right? And I kind of took that as like, the characters in this movie, like they're just kind of going through, like they're almost kind of disconnected from, everything that's going on in Hong Kong,
Yeah.
in their
Yeah,
day-to-day
definitely.
life. Like, she's like in the mood for love, like she's always skipping dinner with her friends, it's they're kind of just separate. Did either of you guys pick up on that, or do you think I'm just pulling at
It,
strings here?
I think that makes sense. Like a lot of the people are like kind of isolated, I guess, in their modernity.
Yeah, yeah. I think this is like a
They,
big.
yeah.
It's kind of a recurring thing in like all of his movies. I feel like the alienation of living in a city and like how people try to make connections in that context.
I think about that scene where they're just like walking by each other to get noodles, and it's like this has happened like how many times did this happen? They're walking by and getting noodles and seeing each other like several weeks, and their partners are off together, and they're like, oh, okay, so we're just by ourselves, and that's kind of like, yeah, I feel like that epitomizes like the isolation that all the characters are dealing with. And I feel like he's really good at doing. I was listening to a Barry Jenkins thing, who I think takes a lot from Wong Kar-Wai, especially in Moonlight. Is that like it's really good at showing like interiority in movies, like showing like the inner feelings of the characters, which I think works pretty well.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, Kat.
Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm kind of out of it. I'm like,
No, you're good, dude.
Come
yeah.
on, you're the host.
Yeah,
Yeah.
come
Be
on.
on it.
So,
Look,
with that, I think just as much as with for In the Mood for Love is Chungking Express also.
So my viewing experience with Chungking Express, I was watching the movie at breakfast time, and I was eating pineapple, and I didn't even like
Oh, nice.
associate it with the movie. Yeah, I was just eating like tons of pineapple because I had it, and then
Nice.
I was paying attention to the movie, and I was like, oh, that's funny. But yeah,
Yeah, the whole expiration date thing.
yeah, that was a sweet story. Did which part spoke to you more? Did you prefer the first half, or did you prefer the second half?
I think I liked I like the second half a lot. Like I just love they use that cranberries, like a Chinese version of the cranberries song, and also the California Dreamin'.
California Dreaming.
Yeah, and I like how it's just like playing like one song and then the next song and then one song, and for some reason it just works really well. And I thought a lot about John Luke Goddard a lot in those scenes, especially because like the girl, she's very like almost like ADHD, like walking around and just uh, taking this apartment apart. And I also kind of thought of like Murakami, the writer. I felt like if you guys have read any of that guy's books, I feel like Wong Kar-Wai would make a good Murakami adaptation if he did. Just because
haven't
it's
read
similar
it.
stuff with the.
But I love Chungking Express, and like I agree that I think like the second part of it is more like I think that's the more famous part, and like because of
Yeah.
that actress and like the songs and everything.
Mm,
But like yeah, I think I don't know this his whole aesthetic. Like when I was watching his early movies, like this and Fallen Angels, which we can talk about later, but
yeah.
like it's almost like what happens doesn't really matter. Like the whole sequence of like her breaking into his apartment kind of secretly and like messing with stuff. It's kind of like nonsense. Like it's like
Yeah.
nobody would act like that, but it doesn't matter because like her and the combination of this and the music and stuff and like the way the city is framed and everything. It's kind of like it's all about what it's evoking, like the mood. So like
Yeah.
it's almost like you don't really watch these movies for like what's actually happening, but it's like what you're kind of inferring into what's happening. Does that make sense?
Totally. Yeah. I feel like well actually apparently he doesn't write, at least when he was doing movies in Hong Kong, he doesn't write scripts for his
Yeah, I've
movies.
heard that they're kind of
Yeah.
improvised.
Yeah, which is really cool. Like I love that. It's very feels very poetic and like just like anything could happen in his movies. And yeah, I like the scene where he's like thinking back and he's like playing with the airplane and he's
Oh
thinking
yeah,
about his ex-girlfriend, and that's a really cool scene, the way it uses the music. And yeah, it just feels like that moment is summed up in that scene really well.
yeah, and also you just want to live. I just want to live in these in Hong
Yeah.
Kong in like the '90s. It looks
Definitely.
like a great time.
Yeah, and it's weird because like you, yeah, like even in Chungking Express, like you don't get much of. If it feels like it could be anywhere. Like it could have been made in Florida, it could have been made in New York, um, and it feels very, I guess, universal. The themes of it.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that that's something that may be helpful with a novice viewer like myself, is that
Mm,
those themes kind of are universal things, because like I mentioned earlier, I haven't really experienced Hong Kong cinema too much, and so as a way to explore explore Hong Kong films, it's good to kind of you know experience these themes that everybody knows, right?
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen John Woo? Any John Woo movies?
Yes.
Yeah. He's a fun Hong Kong director.
Yeah, he is a Hong Kong. Yeah, he is a fun Hong Kong director. I he, what? He directed it. The only John Woo movies I've seen are Face Off and
Am I
Mission
too?
Impossible 2. MI2. Yeah.
Classic Hong Kong
So
film face off.
I don't.
No,
Oh,
I think the only other Hong Kong movies I've seen are probably like Bruce Lee movies and like kung fu
yeah.
movies.
Yeah, I was going through those a while ago, going through.
Oh, you should get the Bruce
Yeah,
Lee
I have it.
series on. Oh, you have it. Oh,
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, they're wild, man.
well, this is kind of relevant for Wong because he kind of doesn't distinguish between like high and low art. Kind of like he takes
Yeah,
inspiration from like B movies Like he probably likes like kung fu movies.
For sure.
You can definitely see that influence.
Yeah, definitely the Grandmaster. It wasn't my. I thought it was interesting to watch the Grandmaster and then watch like all these movies from the world of Wong Kar-Wai, because it feels like with a lot of these, it feels like he's kind of like this cool hipster director from Hong Kong, and the Grandmaster, it still has like that style, but it feels like a little more older, a little more like uh kind of a little more commercial, but I still really dug it.
It feels a lot more commercial to me.
Oh yeah.
Like, I mean, and you look at it and like the opening credits, you know, you've got like Martin Scorsese back the movie, and then also the Weinstein Company, you know, that right.
They
But
produce some good movies.
but yeah, it watched different than you know, those 90s early 2000s movies. And I've only made it a little bit of the way through Fallen Angels, but
I love that one.
yeah.
Fallen Angels. That
So
movie,
good.
like when I was like, I think the plot is like total nonsense. Like I was saying, like it's not really like, but like yeah, just the aesthetic, the visuals are incredible.
Yeah,
Like
it's amazing.
I think
Yeah.
Chungking Express is the better movie, but as far as like just pure cinema, I like the look of Fallen Angels so much.
Yeah. Yeah, I like apparently Chungking Express is supposed to be Hong Kong during the day and Fallen Angels is Hong Kong at night.
Yeah, I
Which
think
I really like.
he wanted it to be like the same movie originally, I
Yeah.
think, and then he just split it up.
Yeah. It's cool the way he does it. It's almost like it feels almost improvised the way he shoots. And there's that crazy dude in Fallen Angels who like is I think he's deaf and
Yeah, like what's going on with that
crazy.
guy?
Like
I'm like, why were he was like washing that guy's hair and making him eat ice cream? I was just like, what is going on? How is this
yeah, he's like
happening?
forcing this guy to eat ice cream. He's like, please, like
Yeah,
I can't eat anymore.
the guy's like, he brings his whole family. He's like, sorry, you don't understand. I got to eat this ice cream. And I was just like, how you? What does this mean? Like, but like I said, like it doesn't really matter. Like it's just like what. It's just like a cool, like it's a cool visual, like it's a cool thing to happen, and like yeah, it's a movie world. Like I don't know, it doesn't,
Mm.
it's not supposed to be real. Like I was thinking of like that part of McDonald's.
Mm. Oh yeah,
Just
yeah.
I love seeing McDonald's in a movie.
Especially in
Just
Hong Kong.
being framed in this way.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
I feel like I like 90s McDonald's. Like McDonald's peaked kind of in the
Yeah.
90s for some reason. Yeah. Fallen Angels is super cool. I love the whole Hitman thing.
Yeah, like that one
Like
song that
yeah.
plays when he goes to kill people.
It sounds like a Aphex Twin a little bit. But yeah, those are some good ones.
Also still has the same themes of like loneliness and stuff and the city and everything. So it's definitely a companion.
Yeah,
But
for
I had a
sure.
question about, did you watch the like edited version of the Grandmaster, or like the real version? Like because there's a shortened version that was made for America,
So
and
I
there's a
Uh,
longer
watched the
version.
version that is on Netflix.
I bet that's the shortened version.
I would think so.
Probably
It's probably
is.
about an
Yeah.
hour 45.
Yeah. I think there's like a 2 hour or something version of it. I don't know where that is streaming.
Yeah, I thought it was a little weird in the Grandmaster. There were like a lot of inner titles that were explaining everything. And I
Yeah,
was
they
like,
probably like cut out
yeah.
a bunch of
And he's
stuff.
like, and then the master trained Bruce Lee. And it like cuts to this kid, like,
Wait,
and
Bruce Lee is a character in the movie?
yeah, yeah. He's like a kid who looks like just like Bruce Lee. It's weird. Um, but yeah, that's interesting because there were a bunch of intertitles in the Netflix version. Like he always has those moments, especially in the mood for love, where he's like almost like haikus that are like he, you know, he was sad that year, and then da 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 da, and but they didn't explain them in the Netflix. It was just like the Chinese characters.
Yeah. So it was the Grandmaster was interesting. It was the earlier movies that I saw, it felt like it just flowed seamlessly. Like the movies flowed seamlessly. The characters were going about their day to day, having their own experiences, and then you see a movie like The Grandmaster, and it's like this epic story of
it's a different beast.
It's a different beast altogether, for sure.
Yeah. There weren't any cool 90s Chinese covers of 90s songs.
Yeah, but Tony Leung was great in it. So
yeah, Tony Chung is he's great. He's definitely his Toshiro Mifune or Robert De Niro.
He's been in all of his movies.
Yeah. Yeah, I watched his earlier movies As Tears Go By and Days of Being Wild, and it's interesting to see how he kind of started out, because As Tears Go By is almost basically a John Woo Hong Kong movie, except there's this really there's this big love romance section with Maggie Chung, and they have a cover of Every Breath You Take in Chinese.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a direct and he's wearing the Top Gun glasses, and it's pretty great. But I would recommend, if you guys haven't seen Days of Being Wild, it's really definitely similar to all his other stuff, and has a lot of the same spontaneity and isolated characters. Bangers.
Yeah. Is are all these movies on the Criterion channel?
I think a few of his movies are on the Criterion channel. I think
DVD set.
Yeah, Chungking Express and Fallen Angel, In the Mood for Love are on the Criterion channel. Not sure which else, but yeah. Have any of you guys seen Happy Together?
No.
No, I meant to watch. That's another one that I wanted to watch, but could not find it.
It's I was telling John this. I feel like it's some parts are shot for shot Moonlight by Barry Jenkins. I think they even use some of the same music in it. But yeah, it's a good one. It's in Argentina.
Oh wow. I want to save a little time for directors that have been influenced by Wong Kar-Wai, but
sure.
But before that, did either of you see My Blueberry Nights?
No,
neither have I. I only saw a few clips of it, but I think it was in English, and Natalie Portman's in it. It's I kind of want to check it out, because I don't know if the feel is just going to be completely different from the rest of his movies.
Yeah, it'd probably be interesting to see, because sometimes some of these international directors try to go to make an English movie, and it's not for whatever reason they can't really do what they do, or it doesn't work as well. So I don't know, maybe that movie wasn't well received. I haven't heard that much about it, so
yeah,
that could be the case.
Yeah, I didn't hear too much about it, but it looks cool. Looks like he was trying to translate.
It's probably still visually pretty cool.
Oh yeah,
that would be fun to look at.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I heard some interview with him where it was he was talking about how he doesn't do scripts, and apparently when he started making movies in America, he started using scripts because he got so much more equipment and so many more people working on the set, and I think that was the necessity of having a script versus being I don't know, what are we gonna shoot today?
The Hollywood system.
Yeah.
And everything. Well, apparently it took like 15 months for them to make In the Mood for Love. Like they were just,
Wow,
he was just shooting and shooting and shooting. And like,
that's crazy.
apparently like, like some of the crew were kind of like, hey, we need to do this scene like a million different times. But it made a classic movie, so
Yeah.
deal with it.
Yeah, apparently it was like a 3-hour movie, like it started out.
Yeah, all of his movies become really succinct though. Like
Yeah.
it's actually pretty mind-boggling that he films without a script. I mean, I'm sure it gives him a lot of freedom, but you
Mhm.
know, the movies are like an hour and a half, an hour 40 minutes long by the time they're edited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like the big thing that pulls it together, and In the Mood for Love kind of has this going on because it has the intertitles, but I feel like it's the monologue that is usually kind of pulling it together.
Yeah, some of these movies, it almost reminded me a little bit of Terrence Malick.
Oh yeah,
It's like he kind of has the
true.
same sort of like pretty improvisational style and like, nice visuals and just like this monologue that kind of tells you the themes and stuff. Like, I hope that I feel like Emmanuel Lubezki should do a movie with Wong Kar-Wai. Like that would be pretty incredible, just visually.
Who is Emmanuel Lubezki?
The cinematographer, like the guy who shot The Revenant,
Oh yeah.
all of Terrence Malick's last movies.
Oh
Like,
yeah, yeah.
he's incredible.
That's right. Yeah, he's the
He's
guy
got to do a
who
movie with Wong Kar-Wai. Like
that would be nuts. That would be very colorful. He did Birdman, right?
yeah, he did that one.
Yeah.
Cat in the Hat.
He did not. That's crazy.
Yeah, he did. That's why that movie looks so good. But yeah,
I feel like I watched that movie in high school. Like the teachers just put it on.
Classic, man.
Speaking of cinematographers, shout out to Christopher Doyle, who's the cinematographer for like all of Wong's movies. Like the guy, he's amazing.
Yeah, he's a genius for sure. And yeah, I was reading about him, and Wong Kar-Wai calls him the Charles Bukowski of cinematography. I guess he drinks a lot.
That's pretty badass.
Yeah, like all of his interviews he's like drinking Heineken, and he's like, no, like I do what I want on set. Like it's pretty cool. Yeah, his cinematography is really interesting. I love the it's like like I don't know how they do it, but it's like it's not slow motion, but it's that like choppy thing he does
there's
when
a word for it. I forget what it's called.
Yeah.
He does that to a pretty cool effect.
Yeah, usually during like running scenes or shootout scenes.
Or like some rain.
Yeah.
I remember like I saw also on like one of the Wikipedia pages for like Chunking Express or something. There was a quote from Roger Ebert's review where he was like, yeah, this might not appeal to mainstream audiences. It'll probably be for those people you see at the video store with like tattoos or like in the anime section. Basically, he was like
Chungking Express.
He's like, this is for like art kids and like like hipsters. I don't know if normal people want to watch this.
Yeah, I showed Chunking Express to my dad, and he was just like, "Okay." He's like, "That was cute."
He liked it.
It was cute.
He understood.
Yeah,
he understood
it really is. One thing I like about I like also, I mean, all directors kind of have this. They have their like trio, or they have their cast people that they come back to. And I love that. I love the actors that continually reappear in Wong Kar-Wai movies, whether it's Tommy Long or Maggie Chung or any number of them. But they're just like, I don't know, very beautiful people, and they always dress nice, and they're like walking in slow motion in Hong Kong.
Well, yeah, it's just cool to see that collaboration. And like that's how he does it. Like he just finds the people who will go along with what he wants.
Yeah.
Just like why stop? Like why do these new people? That's too confusing. Why have new actors in every movie?
They're not gonna get
Too hard to follow.
Yeah. They got the flow down for being in a Wong Kar-Wai. So who are some like directors you guys would compare to Wong Kar-Wai, or are there people that are, you said Terrence Malick, I know we're gonna say Barry Jenkins, but are there any others you guys can think of?
Sophia Coppola.
Yeah,
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 that's a good
that's
one.
right. Yeah. Lost in Translation has
Yeah,
definitely
Lost in
got that like,
that pretty much is a Wong Kar-Wai movie.
yeah,
It really is. I actually watched that for the first. I've been watching a ton of movies lately, but
good.
I actually
Me too.
like a movie a day. It's crazy. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I just watched that one randomly because I hadn't seen it before, and then I watched not all of a few of Wong Kar-Wai's movies, and I was like, what? But
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a similar like visual style and like same themes pretty much.
Yeah.
yeah, Unfulfilled
Isolation.
Love,
Yeah.
the strange passage of time, beautiful cinematography,
Cool music.
yeah.
Sophia Coppola loves Phoenix.
What's that?
The band Phoenix.
Mm.
She plays a lot of their music.
Nice.
And yeah, it's similar for sure. Definitely similar vibes. I remember when I saw Moonlight, I feel like first time I saw it, I was like, whoa, that was like a Wong Kar-Wai movie, but in America. I thought that was really, really cool. And the way that the music is done is very, I guess, yeah, mesmerizing in that way. Very slow and steady.
Yeah, so now that you mentioned that, I'm thinking about the visuals in Moonlight, I'm thinking about the music in Moonlight, and then I'm thinking about the overall story across all three phases of Chiron's life, and I'm like, yeah, that is like a Wong Kar-Wai movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should need to watch that again. Like think about that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Moonlight since it came out, so that'd be a cool revisit.
Definitely watch it with Happy Together. You'll be like, okay. There's like,
it's just a rip-off artist.
yeah. He's a artist more like thief. So
no, I think they're borrowing and making it their own, so
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
We talked about that with Tarantino a few weeks ago.
Yeah, we can't really call anybody a rip-off artist.
No.
Yeah.
Especially as I defended Quentin. But I think we should go back to like French New Wave a little bit, because like that's definitely like we're an influence on him. Like we were talking about people who might have been influenced by him, but like yeah, I feel like he's definitely picked up on that kind of like freewheeling, sort of like do whatever jazzy kind of style.
Mm-hmm.
You can see the old black and white Godard movies and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely like similar to Godard in the 60s, like all the characters that are in it are like, chain smoking, poetic, cool people for the most part. And I definitely think the use of music is like in debt to Godard, because I think Godard was one of the first people who was like, he did like the cut like within a scene where it was like a hard cut, but then he also is doing, especially in like what's it called, Contempt, a lot of his movies, he just repeats songs over and over, and it's kind of a cool effect because like sometimes it like is this theme that you go back to, like the In the Mood for Love thing, and then sometimes it's almost like self-referential, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm watching a movie. Like,
Yeah,
kind of takes you out of it a little bit. And but there are tons of influences I feel like on Wong Kar-Wai, similar to Tarantino. I feel like Scorsese even is a pretty big influence on him.
Yeah, I've heard that Tears. I think as Tears Go By, isn't that kind of just like a kind of a gangster movie? Like I've heard it's kind of like the same or like similar to Mean Streets. Is that accurate?
It's true. There are a lot of similarities to Mean Streets. It's like part John Woo movie, part Mean Streets, part Top Gun. Like,
Yeah.
like it's a fun mix. It's a good like first movie for him to make.
It's named after a it's pretty good Rolling Stone song.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Pop music is very important for Wong Kar-Wai. Like, especially like I feel like because kind of feel like isn't Hong Kong sort of more like Western or like there's more like influence from all these other countries. So like I feel like that's why he includes like the Cranberries.
Yeah,
like, all these Western references.
Yeah, it's definitely. I feel like Hong Kong is certainly like an international city. I've never been there, but that's what I've heard. And yeah, it's kind of crazy. Also, like as I was watching it, I was like, oh yeah, like the British left Hong Kong in 1997. Like they haven't been like sovereign for very long, like their own place, and they're always like kind of even now, especially they're always kind of having big China come in and try to take it back, and they're always kind of pushing against that a little bit.
Yeah, I'm sure if I knew more about that situation, like I could see some things in some of Wong's movies that are probably like reflecting some of that, but I'm not a Hong Kong history nerd.
Yeah.
Right.
You're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, I because I was watching his movies, I was trying to do research about the history of Hong Kong, but I think that will take me well over a week to get an understanding.
China's a pretty simple place, not very
not complicated.
Very easy to understand.
Read the Wikipedia page, you got it.
Yep, we're set. I'm an expert.
I like the kind of film scholars we are.
Yeah, I read Wikipedia like an hour before coming on. Please listen to what I have to say.
But no, it's always good to be like curious. I feel like
I mean
always
that's
be, like,
part of the cool
interested.
thing. It's like the cool thing about watching foreign movies is like you can it's kind of a gateway into learning about some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like for us, it's I feel like they hold up as these cool like art pop movies that are about these like beautiful people and this unrequited love and cool pop songs, but probably there's some parts of that are like, oh, this is about Hong Kong or living in Hong Kong in some way, but we're just kind of like, what? Like
just like these Western pigs who were like, oh, cool song.
Well, I like the Cranberries.
No, I mean he would put that stuff in there if he didn't want people to think it was cool. So
yeah,
I feel like it's both like the kind of like this like intoxicating style that's also like this melancholy themes. That's kind of like that's why I like his movies because like you can both like within the mood for love, it's kind of like a bummer movie. Like it's not something I would put on to like have a good time, but it's also just really fun to like get lost in like the visuals in that world. So like it's kind of
I feel like it's a really accessible art film though. Especially if you're like, oh, I'm gonna pop in some Antonioni or something. Or some other big art films. Probably even like a Ingmar Bergman or something. I feel like it's very accessible, but also very like highbrow. and lowbrow.
Yeah, that's probably one of the reasons why it's been so successful. Like you could definitely like that could be like your first like intro to foreign film or like art film. So like, yeah, I agree.
Definitely. So what you're saying that you're obsessed now, John, with Wong Kar-Wai. What are the things that I guess drew you to In the Mood for Love versus Chungking Express?
Yeah, I candidly, and I may make myself sound kind of ignorant for saying this, but
Sure.
when I am watching a movie in a language that I don't speak, some of the nuances of the dialogue that I may notice in an English film, I wouldn't notice in a movie like Chungking Express or In the Mood for Love because I don't speak the language. So
you don't?
I do not
speak Cantonese or whatever they speak.
Yeah. They go between like
I think there's a couple different.
I believe so. So one of the things that really made me gravitate towards In the Mood for Love is the visual storytelling. And then the fact that we never see and then the non-visuals as well, the fact that we never see either of their spouses. I thought that was really cool. And then I always I don't know what it is, I always gravitate towards kind of those bittersweet stories where there's something special but something's just a little off with it.
Yeah, I definitely like I do like the melodrama of Wong Kar-Wai movies. Whether it's that guy who's like I was wondering if you like the line in Chungking Express where he's like talking to his friend and he's like trying to deal with a breakup and he's like what are you doing, jogging? You're training for a marathon? He's like, don't do that, like jogging is for yourself, jogging is like private. I thought you would like that line.
I love that line.
We're runners.
Yeah, we're athletes.
We're athletes. So
you guys run to like get all the water out of your body so you don't cry.
Right.
Pretty much, it helps with that. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think, I mean, subtitles obviously are going to change how you watch the movie, but like, yeah, it definitely helps that Wong Kar-Wai is more of a visual. It kind of feels weird to call a filmmaker like a visual filmmaker because film is supposed to be visual. So like, this is something that I was kind of thinking about when watching these movies. It's like, I don't know, like it shouldn't be like an exception to be like, oh, this is more about like the cinematography, how it's all put together, like rather than like an A to B story. Like, I feel like. Yeah, I mean, these movies are like 20 years old, and like we're still like, oh, this is kind of weird. It's not like a traditional story. So like, is film dead? Is what I'm asking. Are we?
Film
stuck?
is definitely dead.
Yeah, it's like, come on, we should be experimenting more, and like,
true.
I don't know, people should be more open to like pure, like more experimental cinema. I think. Like, do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it kind of makes you appreciate the art of film more, more so than just the script of the movie itself. And so you get different storytelling techniques. You get different ways different perspectives, different ways to see things. So it makes you appreciate all of film more by having seen movies like this.
For sure. I just thought when you were mentioning that, Wiley, I felt like with that like pure cinema thing, it kind of reminds me of like Dario Argento. Like, not that his movies are really are like that, but the fact that like in all those horror movies by Dario Argento, like the reason we watch it is like, ooh, like cool colors.
Yeah, it's like, or like it's like, yeah, the story is nonsense, but like
And the music is
it
cool.
doesn't matter. Like it's about the mood and like what he's trying to, yeah, like the response that you have.
Mm.
So like, yeah, more people should more movies like that, please.
Mm-hmm.
Is what I'll say.
None of this Godzilla versus
Yeah,
Kong
yeah, what is
nonsense.
this garbage that people are watching? Come on, 4 hours of Justice League.
I watched both those movies actually.
We should. You guys should have done a mega episode on just for the Snyder cut.
Oh man!
So then
I'll
I
just
will.
be
I
like,
won't
it's
have
trash.
It's a lot, yeah.
Yeah. But the Flash, hilarious side character.
They should have gotten Wong Kar-Wai to direct it. It would have been much better.
If Wong Kar-Wai was going to make a superhero movie, what superhero movie do you think he would direct? I think he would do Batman. I feel like he would do Batman. Probably.
Daredevil.
Ooh,
Daredevil.
Yeah. Mm.
I think he would make Joker. But yeah, think about it. It's all about alienation, cities.
True.
You can have there's dancing, apparently.
Yeah.
That movie.
Yeah. And Joker's really like almost a Martin Scorsese ripoff movie too. So it kind of is like comes full circle. Martin Scorsese, Wong Kar-Wai, Joker.
Whoa.
Fortunately,
Ouroboros.
Wong is an artist. He will not be seduced by the Marvel DC machine.
Good. Yeah, I guess he came out with a series too. He like his last thing he did
since the Grandmaster.
Yeah. I don't know what it's
Where's
on.
It at? Where is it?
I don't know.
Give me the deets.
All right, I'm gonna find this.
All right.
Go to imdb.com.
I'm getting a behind the scenes look at how AVH prepares for this podcast.
It's called Blossoms.
Yeah.
And it is a TV series. It looks like a return to form. It looks really pretty cool. It's set in the 90s. So with the 90s becoming more and more popular and having a comeback, do you think that Wong Kar-Wai is going to have a renaissance of sorts? Or is it already upon us?
I feel like if you know, you know. Like he's been like a pretty big international filmmaker for like a long time. So, but yeah, I mean, hopefully, maybe some of these kids who are like obsessed with the '90s will go and find Chungking Express. Like that would be cool.
Yeah. Stop listening to Billie Eilish. This is to my students who are listening.
Yeah, go tell your students to watch. If you want to know what it was like growing up when I was 5 years old, you couldn't do any of this. Watch this movie.
Nice. So I think that kind of like sums up a good deal. What are you guys' thoughts on do you guys think you're gonna seek out more Wong Kar-Wai, or what do you guys think?
For sure.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I still need to see 2046 for sure. But then,
yeah,
Happy Together. Yeah, he lives up to the hype. He's a great filmmaker. Like he's kind of one of those guys. Like for a long time that I would hear like, oh, his movies are great. And for some reason, I just always put off watching them. So now after finally watching it, it's like, what was I waiting for? It's pretty great.
Yeah, even with the criterion that I have, I was like looking at some other movies and they're like more that aren't on here. Like he made a kung fu movie around the same time as Chungking Express that looks really good, and and the Blueberry Nights one as well.
Yeah, I think for me the one that I want to actively seek out is 2046.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sequel.
Mhm.
For love.
It definitely gives you that Mad Men vibe. Like In the Mood for Love also had a very similar like Mad Men, almost like a nostalgia for the 50s, and like the costume design is like immaculate in the Mood for Love.
I know, it really was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I made note of that when I was watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I think they've all like he has like his three, like his cinematographer and well, I guess his cast that he works with all the time, and then I think he has like a production designer that he always works with as well. I have a question for you guys as a filmmaker or as a as a student of film. Do you think it's more important for a director to study movies or to study literature or to study like is there something that's more that's like is like watching movies good practice for a filmmaker, or is it something that is I don't know, what do you guys think?
I think both are important.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can
Me
always
too.
do both.
Yeah. Probably both are
Yeah.
good.
But, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, if you want to make movies, you got to watch movies. Like, you can't.
For sure.
I love books, but it's not. It's pretty different. Like, it's different medium, you know. So
For
like, you can
sure.
learn. You can learn things and like apply different methods. But like, yeah, just fill your brain with movies constantly.
Yeah.
Never stop watching movies.
Yeah, I mean, I think reading great literature will certainly help with understanding some of the subtleties of theme.
True.
Yeah.
But for film as a visual medium, I think it's important to kind of see what some of the what some of the pros have done,
Mm.
and then make it your own.
Well,
Continue to.
what about if you're a filmmaker and you're playing video games or scrolling on Instagram for for 2 hours?
And that is the modern Wong Kar-Wai. You got to make a movie about a guy who just stares at his phone all day.
You just have like a narration. He's like, I play video games all day. I don't have a girlfriend. I'm basically alone.
That was a movie, and that's your next movie.
That would be good.
Yeah, you should try the Wong method. Like, when just like shoot forever, and then like figure it out later.
Yeah,
It'd be fun.
it's pretty cool. Like it sounds like he writes while he like edits the things that he shot, and yeah, it's like all happening at once, which is a really cool thing. Well, cool. Well, I
Yeah.
think that that more or less sums up our Wong Kar-Wai. You guys have any other anything else?
I think that that pretty much covers it.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah, one of the best international filmmakers around. Check them out if you haven't checked them out before.
Like, subscribe.
Like, subscribe, follow my Twitter.
Yeah, likes help us dramatically. So
You can even post the link to your social media page.
Yeah, post to your socials. Alex, do you think we're going to make a shortened version of this, an edited version of this for TikTok?
Definitely not.
Okay.
TikTok podcasts.
Yeah. The TikTok one would just be like, Wong Kar-Wai?
What?
And cut.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for listening in, and we will see you next time on Moviemood.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, it's good to have you, Wiley. We'll have to have you on more often.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Be well.